What up, gamers? When I make composition guides, I always dig into the data, go through the stat explorers, you know, toggle a bunch of different things, check with other high elo players, get their opinion. I always do that with all my guides, but sometimes I also specialize in the comp where I have played more games on the composition than most players in the world. And this is one of the comps that this happens to be the case. And this is the Dryad Gnar and Kindred duo carry comp. I played a lot of this comp last patch. I was one tricking it, which I do not recommend. I do not recommend doing that. I was one tricking this last patch because honestly, I thought last patch was insufferable. So I was just trying to find fun ways to play the game. And this is a comp that I played a lot. And so I have some specialty knowledge on it that I would love to share with you today. So with that out of the way, let's get into this. So this is the Dryad Reroll comp. And notice I already have a Dryad crest. We'll talk more about augments in a minute. You do not have to have a Dryad emblem in order to play this composition. However, it is a lot easier because you get to play a board that looks like this on level 6. You know, before you hit Kane, just play Kha'Zix. You get to play a board that looks like this, and it is so strong. If you don't have a Dryad emblem, it's actually better to play Ornn here, and it's a little awkward because you can't have your Kindred critting naturally, which makes her a lot weaker. So ideally, you want to play this with a Dryad emblem, but it is not necessary. This comp is enabled a lot by augments, which we will... Let's go ahead and just talk. Let's talk about items. I want to talk about items first. But we'll talk about the augments that enable the comp. But in short, I'll just tell you guys, the gold combat augments are what's so important for you. So this comp is especially strong on Golden Gala and on Champion Conference because you can guarantee all the Dryad units that you need, but also Golden Gala because all of the augments that really enable this composition are gold, except for there's the Prismatic Dryad, but really you want the gold augments. The gold combat augments is what really makes this comp strong. And sometimes like certain combinations of these augments just make this comp unstoppable if you can get the whole board online. Like sometimes I just feel like I have a guaranteed first if I have like this, for example, this orientation of combat augments. I just feel so enabled. But anyways, let's talk about some items real quick because you're probably looking at Gnar's items and thinking, why does he have double BT? So in the data, and this has been true for a long time, this isn't just some new tech. In the data, item pairs, let's go in. Where is it at? Oh, adjusted placement. Sorry. In item pairs, double PT performs extremely well and always has. And anecdotally, whenever I play it, this item combination feels the most consistent, especially when you have matchups like you're going into a Kaisa or you position in front of a Syndra, something like that. You just stay alive for so long. So why is double BT better than double Titans? In my opinion, this is my take. This is what has felt good to me. And it's what shows in the data here. Why? Well, if you don't know, the reason why you build Titans in the first place is because the more AP that Gnar has, the more damage that he deals, right? But Bloodthirster a while ago got changed to where it gives 15 AP as well with the 20% AD that it also gives. You can see the stats on screen right now. Now that's all well and good. That's not going to be quite as strong as a fully stacked Titans. But the whole point of Gnar is like, sometimes he just doesn't get enough done early on in the fights. And then by the time he stacks up his Titans, he could just totally miss. And so the double BT tech just gives him loads of upfront damage and survivability to make him so consistent in fights. I strongly think that double BT plus 1 Titans is the way to go rather than BT Titans. The only time I feel like double Titans plus 1 BT is the strongest variation is whenever you have Gargantuan's Resolve. And let's just see what the item trios say. Now, obviously, this is so low play rate, so we're not going to like take this into super account right here, the double Sterix and stuff like that. But Sterix is also a great item in this composition as well. But you can go with the classic BT Titans always, of course. You can go BT Sterix and Titans. Also, sometimes you can just end up going like BT Titans plus like an actual tank item if it's just really good for the lobby. Like the lobby is very high AD. You can go Bramble and stuff like that if you get messed up on your items. But I just wanted to show that here real quick because I strongly believe that double BT is actually the way. As well as when you have Dryad, the double BT will proc that massive shield, which just keep Gnar alive. I find it just is way more consistent and will have your Gnar winning a lot more fights than he loses than when he has the double Titan setup. But anyway, so that's the items there. Other items that you really want to prioritize is healing reduction onto Kindred. And then you want some type of mana generation usually. So blue buff or adaptive helm is going to be your best bet. If you need to go a Spear of Sojourn, that's okay. But again, I want to save my swords for Gnar. But you know, it's okay. But blue buff or adaptive is going to be your best bet. If you need to go like a Rage Blade setup, That's okay as well. But the real most important thing is getting a Morello or a red buff onto your Kindred, and you'll be good to go. And then the +1 is just +1 an item, you know, Archangel, Deathcap, whatever. Probably don't build JG unless you're stuck without a Reaper for a long time because you don't have the emblem and you need to put Ornn here. So just know that. And then other items to strongly consider building is Even Shroud and a Redemption. So if you go for a 3-star Rek'Sai, you want to have it on the Rek'Sai next to your Gnar. However, if you don't think you're going to go for a Rek'Sai 3, then you would rather have these items on someone like a Lowy or Aatrox and position them right over here because you want to have your Ghostlies near Gnar. However, if you are going for a 3-star Rek'Sai, you have stuff like Mulched, you're going to go for the vertical Dryad, you're juicing it up. Rek'Sai is actually a beast with items, so then I would do it like this. But if you're not going for Rek'Sai 3, you're not going for the Giga Dryad stuff, then probably put the items onto Aatrox or Lowy so you can have the Ghostly procs right next to your Gnar and you could be good to go. When you position, you usually want to have Gnar on the wing so that he can kill a frontliner, then walk to the backline. And you want to have your Kindred positioned behind your Gnar so that Kindred is healing reducing the target for Gnar, and you can burst so that Gnar can get to the backline as quick as possible and you'll be good to go. Hey, if you have the means to and you want to help support me continuing to do what I love, which is make these videos for you guys, then consider becoming a member. Thank you. Back to the video. All right, let's talk about some augmentation. So combat augments is what you want in this comp. Like, you really don't want to be playing econ augments too much. Item-based augments are okay as well, but generally you just want hard combat augments. And let's dig into the stats over here real quick. And so as you can see, the top placement one is a Baboom, but I don't actually think this is an indicator to play the comp. However, this is a very good augment in the comp because of Kindred can just abuse this really easily. Gnar casts quite a bit, especially if you have the double BT setup. His survivability is so high, steals a lot of damage. I think it's really good, but I don't think this is the primary indicator to play it. I think the primary indicator to play the Dryad comp is going to be stuff like Too Healthy, heavy hitters on 3-2 when you're already playing stuff like Too Healthy, you're already building the comp. Combat Caster is quite good. I do like Combat Caster there. Having the emblem, having Mulch. As you can see, Mulch doesn't perform super high in the data, but the average games you play is so high. I love Mulched on 2-1, especially when you already have like a Rek'Sai 2. Just getting that Gnar early and can allow you to have the early 2-star Gnar, which makes the game just so much easier. So taking this on 2-1 is so strong, and 3-2 is very good as well. It's difficult to take this on 4-2 unless you just need that last Gnar for your 3-star. That's the only time I would take that there. Jeweled Lotus can be okay. It really depends on the lobby if you want to take something like Final Ascension. Epitaph can always be good, of course. Idealism can be okay if you end up wanting to build a lot of Hand of Justice, like you're just in a situation where you have to do that. Putting one Hand of Justice on your Gnar can be perfectly acceptable, and then spread some Hand of Justice to your Kindred and your Rek'Sai can be good. You get to go. Things like Martyr is very good. Once you actually get loads of teammates onto your composition can be good. Unified's fine. But generally the things you really want to look for are things like Mulch, Too Healthy, heavy hitters, and then when you already have the comp online, something like Baboom can be very strong. Combat Caster as well, another one that's super strong. But I always feel like I have the nuts if I have like 2 healthy heavy hitters, like, and Mulch. I wanted to show with the Dryad emblem because I feel like that is what most people associate with playing this comp. It does make it easy to play this comp and raises your cap dramatically if you have a Dryad emblem. But I find the mid game is easier to play with a Dryad emblem, but I don't know, it gets a little awkward once you go to 7 and you already have your Ornn and your Kayn. If you hit early 3-stars, I actually think the Dryad emblem is not that good, but it just raises your cap so dramatically and can make your level 6 really easy to play. So let's talk about how to actually play the game tempo and how that goes. So you just want to play strongest board on stage 2, win as many rounds as you can, all that good stuff. If you already have a Kindred and Gnar on your board, you can go ahead and start itemizing them. That's amazing, great, awesome. And then you want to roll for a board that looks like this on level 6. So on 3-2, you want to roll it down for a Gnar 2-star, a Kindred 2-star, and hopefully you 2-star some of the other things. But really, you just need a Kindred and a Gnar 2-star so that you can be stable on that stage. And then econ back up to 50, and then just slow roll the rest of slow roll on stage 4 until you have Gnar 3, Kindred 3, and hopefully Rek'Sai 3. It is not required, but Rek'Sai 3 is quite nice. And then you can look for Aatrox 3 if it's possible to thin out the pool. But if you need to clear off bench space, the first one you will sell is Aatrox. And then your Dryad emblem, if you do have a Dryad emblem, by default will go on Lowy, but if you go for an Aatrox 3, go ahead and put it on Aatrox. He is a beast with the emblem, and you'll be good to go. If you don't have a Dryad emblem, it is better to play Ornn over Kayn here. You do lose out on a lot of damage here, but the tankiness of your team is really insane. But yeah, if you do have a Dryad emblem, you always play Kayn here, and you'll be good to go. So what units do we add onto our board here? If you do have the Dryad emblem, the next unit that you add onto your board is either going to be a Shin or a Morgana. Morgana is pretty solid on the patch, so you could probably add that. And then your level 8 would be Ornn right here. If you don't have a Dryad emblem, then it is your level 7 is Ornn Kane, and then your level 8 is Morgana or Shin. And then typically you just want to put your Ornn next to whatever unit you 3-starred or whatever unit you're trying to juice up. So if you have a 3-star Rek'Sai with 2 items, have the Ornn over here and have your ghostly units over here. It can be a little bit awkward, but you can get the item there. If not, just have your Ornn positioned in a way to give, like, I don't know, your Lowy an item or something. It doesn't really matter that much. And then, so if you have the Dryad emblem, then we're going to go 9 and we're going to play Azir once we can go 9. This is why Champion Conference is really good with this composition, because you can guarantee you hit the Azir. And once you have 6 Dryad, 3-star Gnar, 3-star Kindred, this comp is the juice. Like, it's just nutty. It is absolutely broken. If you have an augment setup like this, mulch, Dryad crest, heavy hitters, like, forget about it. You're so strong. Now, if you don't have the emblem, so let's remove the emblem. If you don't have the emblem, when you go 9, this spot can be whatever you want it to be. Azir is still very good because he still is getting the Dryad stacks. But if you don't want to do that, you can play literally anything here. If you had Morgana there, you can play some Wukong. That can be quite nice because it can give you Omnivamp for your front line, AP for your back line, Beer for your horses. You're good to go. You could play something like this for Arc. You'd be good to go. You can play Deer. This is what I mostly play as my spot here. You play an Udyr here, be good to go. And that's generally the spots that you want to play here. But anyways, guys, this is a very easy comp to play, very fun comp to play, and good luck climbing on this patch.